Hey, what is up, everybody? It's good to have everybody here again and to be able to communicate about finances. Javin, how you doing?
Doing great. Better than I deserve, as Dave Ramsey says.
So, what is the day today? Give us the numbers.
The numbers, the economy, the stock market is booming. Bitcoin up, all crypto up. I just had a notification from Ethereum it's up, I think 10.2% for the day as of now. It's going to keep going up. The Dow is up extraordinary amounts. I know I saw it
Fourteen
this
hundred
morning.
points right now to a
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
See, I saw
yeah.
this morning the futures for S&P were up 1,000, so we can expect that in the future. I mean, numbers numbers don't lie. Numbers are up, and the elephant in the room, no pun intended. We have to talk about it. Clayton, dive into that for us.
Well, so we're gonna jump right into this article that was put out by CNBC Business. It says Dow soars 1,400 points, breaking a record. The Russell 2000 jumps 5%, breaking another record as Trump defeats Harris. What is the effect that Trump has been billing for this? I mean, it's incredible. Even last night, as we were seeing some of the states start trending, like, hey, this might go towards the right, and more probability we saw in the betting odds. We saw that so many people, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, was put into the betting process of this, and as it was slowly spreading, once Trump was at 70 cents to 30, we're going, okay, this is getting really interesting, and then Bitcoin, you start to see around 9:30 last night p.m. Eastern time starting to rise, and I remember texting my dad. I was like, "What is going on?" And first off, Javin, what do you even think about the betting sites for presidential elections?
I mean, I'm all for capitalism. Everyone has the right to do what they want to do. If you want to do it, I'm all for it. I'm not. I don't love gambling, but you have a right to do it, so I'm all for it.
I
I think it's
also think,
fun.
yeah, well, and it's a good indicator for a poll, to be able to say like, hey, if people are putting their own money down on this, sports bettors know how to win most of the time. And so if they're putting lots of money, and I think the average amount of money that somebody put in was $64. So this
Wow.
isn't people chirping in $5. They're doing a lot of money in this. So it was interesting to see that gap just completely change.
No, but yeah, like you said, if you put money behind something, you're gonna work hard to achieve it, and that's people. And as we can tell, people did that. I was at an event yesterday, and I overheard someone talking about they put money on President-elect Trump, and they put 5 grand on him. So yeah, you're right. It's not small numbers. People are putting big numbers on these things now, and I can
Big
see this being a
numbers,
trend now. Yeah,
big
huge
numbers.
numbers, huge numbers. But it's something that I definitely, looking at the economy and the market altogether, look forward to seeing where it's going to trend. I mean, we've looked at past administrations. We see, on average, when it comes to a Republican president, we usually have a 10.2% return versus a 9.3 in a Democratic president. But we also see that a divided government, so let's say presidency red and then Congress blue, that actually does better for the market than actually having one party system, which I can definitely understand it. But Clayton, as you're looking at all this, if someone had to ask you, should I jump in now? What would your answer be?
My answer, my gut feeling is jump in.
Okay.
Uh, it's showing such incredible growth right now. More and more people. We're looking at even opposition companies. They're all growing. And so, for example, you have DJT, the Trump stock, that
Mm-hmm.
obviously soared. You have Tesla, which
Yeah.
with Elon Musk's endorsement, that's going to soar. But then there's also opposing companies who obviously are not on Trump's side that are also growing. So with that actually shows power. This isn't the GameStops, the things where it was like a grassroots effort to grow a stock. No, this is actually a real thing. And so at least on my end, I'm definitely going to be putting more money in, and I feel a lot more comfortable going forward, especially in a long term stock like QQQ, or even if you want to put it into Russell or whatever you have. So, what are your thoughts on that, Javen? Are you
So
like minded or?
I'm a bit different on my thing here. I don't want people to base their investment off elections themselves. The way I see it is that where the numbers at, where the market is now, it's already factored in a Trump win. So I really do see it kind of in the next month, maybe 2 months, it kind of going back down and plateauing to a fair value what the market believes. I think right now it's more of an emotional thing, but if you keep doing, let's say, dollars cost averaging, I say keep doing that. I won't say to invest less because of this, but I would say I would be hesitant in putting in a big lump sum because of this, especially right now. Now, if you want to do that in maybe 2 months when you see it kind of plateauing, maybe go ahead. Because what we've seen, kind of talking about the party that we're going to have in Congress and president, we do see this party, the Republicans, more likely to lessen regulation. Deregulation is a big thing. Lower taxes is a bigger thing. Less spending is a big thing. And when that the market does respond in a positive manner. So maybe when it goes back down, start investing more. But be careful what you invest in. I don't recommend you going just buy Tesla just because Elon Musk has supported Trump. I don't recommend that at all. I still recommend staying those ETFs, those value ETFs like you mentioned, QQQ, VOO, the Russells, VTI, things like that. Those are going to be the strong performers, in my opinion, these next few years.
I would almost differ with you on Tesla. And
Okay.
the only reason I would say that is Elon Musk put himself in a make or breaker situation.
Mhm.
As we know, X was a little bit of a struggle to pick up, a lot of drama that went on with that. He's been through a lot, and to put his name on here, to go at campaign, form a pack, and then also have to have, his support from his actual staff that works with Tesla,
Yeah.
that works with all of his companies. The fact that he came out of this in such a strong manner, if we're talking election and his views, I saw this article. I don't know if it's true, but Elon Musk's net worth is going to go up $15 billion under Trump's administration because of the lessening of regulation and what Elon Musk is wanting to do. So I would almost challenge to say, like, if it's me, I would put even more money in because wait, what is it
Yeah.
at right now, Javen? Let me take a look.
Tesla, I think last time I checked, it was 289, I believe.
289. What's the fair value? Let me find the fair value index right
Oh,
now.
I would think the fair value. Oh, good question. I
Yeah,
don't
here, let's
know.
see. Like, don't look. Let's see how close you get.
My guess for Tesla's fair. Let's see. I bought in when it was, I think, like 189, and I thought that was low. So I would say fair value maybe 205, 212,
210.
210.
Respect. That is
Wow,
a
really?
pick. Fair value we
Oh,
have at 210. Now, I will say this gets updated monthly, and I think that this fair value is going to change quite a
yeah.
bit. I think it could go to 235. Um, but yeah, the uncertainty is very high. But this was
Yes.
also before the election, and maybe what
Yes.
Elon Musk is wanting to do with his company and how he's wanting to grow his name because his name is attached to Tesla. You don't think of Tesla without Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And so if Elon Musk goes down, it's kind of a big issue.
Yeah. And on top of that, we have to look at what this incoming administration's policies are going to be when it comes to fiscal responsibility. I mean, we've already heard from President-elect Trump how the IDF, the inflation, the RRD, Inflation Reduction Act, how he wants to gut that. So we'll have to see how that plays into the markets. I mean, I imagine it will probably help the energy sector as gas, those renewable energy, things like that. You might see uranium. I'll say I'm invested. I think we talked about this last podcast. I'm
Yeah.
invested in some uranium stock. That's actually the only stock right now that's actually going down. But I'm gonna stay in it. I'm gonna stick with it. I think it's a long term thing. But that's something we got to look into. Is where the policy is going to be. Let's look at defense and industries. Historically, Republicans spend more on the military. So do we look more at the defense and infrastructure projects? Are they going to go up? Probably so. Financially, I already mentioned this, we're gonna see a lot of more deregulation. What we've seen coming out from the FCC and then the SEC has been a very strong anti-monopoly
Yep.
and I would personally say anti-competition. I think they've gone a little bit too hard on these businesses, and I think we'll see an administration that's going to be a lot more friendly to them. So a lot of banks. I think you mentioned, or you and I, you told me, what was that company you told me about that stock you told me to invest in? What was it called? It was a
Oh,
financial business.
BPOP. Corporate
BPOP.
holding out of, I believe it's
BPOP.
Puerto Rico. Yep,
BPOP.
BPOP.
Do you know if it's up or down right now?
I actually have not looked at that. Let me pull it up
Yeah,
right
figure it
now.
out. But to that point, I would imagine somewhere like BPOP would probably go up because of the deregulation that's going to be trickling down to these.
Holy moly, it went up 10%
Yep.
today.
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
So, man, you're on it, Javen. You've been doing
So,
your research. Now,
hey,
do
I
I wish I
tried.
would have held that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
bought at 86 and sold at 92.
that's not a bad ROI though.
But wow,
But
10%.
I would say those are the three sectors we should look out for with this changing administration: financial, energy, defense, and industry.
I have a curveball question for you if you don't
Okay.
mind. I want you to say, bring it on, Clayton. Say it.
Bring it on, Clayton.
Let's go. Cannabis stocks. What are you thinking? Aurora.
Okay. So let's look at Florida. Florida
Okay.
had on their ballot an initiative to legalize marijuana recreationally, and it failed. So do we see that as being the pulse of the whole country? I would truthfully say no. But also, I don't believe the federal government has should be getting involved. I mean, actually, cannabis is I think illegal federally, so I guess they do have a role in this. Do I think it'll be this administration's top priority? Probably not. But
Wait, so without
okay,
looking, Javin, up or down, we're gonna go Aurora.
that's cannabis, I assume.
Correct.
Are
That is
they
one of the
are
more
they
popular ones.
United States based in the United States?
I believe so.
Okay,
Let me make sure. They're from Edmonton, Canada.
Canada. That's hard because we got to remember this incoming administration wants to increase tariffs. So
Where
I
do
mean,
you think that it's at today?
number wise, I would say. I mean, number wise maybe 120.
No, 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 not price.
Oh,
Price change.
percentage.
I'm gonna give you a hint. They don't sell for 120. They sell from generally $4 to $6. That's the price per share.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're saying the percentage wise, how much has gone
Percentage
up?
wise, I'm just gonna go based off of
I
Aurora.
think like 2 or 3% today.
Up
Up, yeah.
17% down
Oh,
in one day. So that is a very interesting indicator. Now,
okay.
I see 17% down with a very major company like Aurora. Interesting buy,
Yeah,
possibly. 17% down today.
yeah. Which I guess makes sense because Republicans aren't the party of legalizing any kind of sort of drug, recreational drug, especially. So it makes sense why it goes down. I just I mean, that's a topic that we can definitely discuss later on because that has economic implications. But I
Correct.
know on a state level, there's a lot of states that are trying to tackle that, and I think that's something that they should definitely look at as sorts of revenue. Like it or not, it's a great source of revenue, and it's gonna be legal sooner rather than later. So might as well get in front of the ball.
Yeah, well, and even too, like we talked about this ahead of time. We don't want to just talk about politics, but yesterday was a massive day for fiscal responsibility going forward.
Yeah,
So as we continue to grow and learn, as we can see, there are already immediate implications on how we should be changing our investing game going forward with this new administration.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. To your point, for fiscal responsibility, debt's gonna be a big indicator for market stability and what to expect coming up. I can imagine that when we look at the spending, hopefully coming from any administration, is it will be lower spending and focusing on the important spending. But I just don't know if the spending this time will actually correlate. And I say that only because since COVID, excessive spending has become the rule and not the exception. If that makes sense. But if you were waking up this morning and you forgot the election was happening and you open your phone and you see stocks have gone up and you don't have a dime in investments, what would you tell someone for their short term strategy right now?
Short term strategy. Can you give me months? What's short term? 6 months to a year?
Less than a year.
Less than a year. I would actually stick with if you're wanting short term
Short
gains,
term.
not long term. I hate that I'm saying this, but I would stick with the really popular growth stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, ones that already have a basis of loyal following. I would put it into those. Personally, like James was saying earlier, I would possibly put into aircraft manufacturers. I know, airports. Boeing could be a good one. Also, just I know restaurants. As hypothetically, food might become cheaper and cheaper. You might want to look into putting more food or putting more bread on your plate, but putting a little bit more money, diversifying it with maybe Hershey or something like that. Who knows? But I do know if you put it into Tesla and Nvidia, I would feel very confident in short term growth by 40 to 50% on a year.
Yeah.
I feel
So
very
I
comfortable saying that.
so I'd say I'm with you short term growth. I would do those riskier stocks. I would stick with those Nvidias. I would even go into Bitcoin short term. Now the only thing I would kind of be hesitant on is short term wise things like Boeing, because right now we're engaged in a war, Israel and Ukraine, and we haven't really got a confident feeling about where this current administration is going to stand on Israel. Are we going to continue to support them, or are we going to actively not try to hamper their abilities, but are we going to give them less to encourage them to 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 promote peace? So that's kind of where I'm hesitant. I actually looked up Boeing as you were talking. It looks like Boeing's down 1% today. It looks like it dipped a good bit, but it's ticking back up throughout the day. But that's something that I would think about when thinking about the defense sector. Is that an indicator? Is that we worry about that when talking about those wars? But yeah, 100% with you. Or also, I would look at energy stocks. Is that I think energy stocks are going to go up short term. I mean, it's going to happen because this is going to be a president and a Congress who is going to be pro energy, and that's going to be a very not pro energy, but pro renewable resources and gas and stuff. And that's a big reversal of what we've had these past 4 years.
Well, and also if we're going to talk about aviation, I brought this up, I believe, in our last video. ACHR, Archer Aviation, is a very interesting buy right now. It's at 323 a share. It went down just like a percent right now as of 2:40 Eastern time.
Well,
But over the last few months, they've been able to gain a lot of traction. And over the year, they tanked, and over the last month, they've already gone up 9%. So it could also be kind of an interesting stock to buy right now. The volume trend is there. People are buying a lot of this. There's 9 million in share volume right now.
yeah.
So we're going to see what happens with that as well. But I'm very confident in the stock market. If you play it right, there's a gold mine in here that we just got to find.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's so great because I find a lot of people our age are actually seeing that and they're getting engaged, which is amazing. I mean, look at the sign behind you, though. I vote crypto. That has unified so many young people in this country. Of course, mostly men. That's just how it is. But we definitely see women coming on board. Say, okay, this is happening. It's amazing that this is the thing. Money is unifying our generation, which is amazing because that's the thing that's at the end of the day, most people that matters. What does that say?
Crypto, crypto, crypto.
Crypto, crypto, crypto. In the words of a wise man, crypto, crypto, crypto.
No, if right now you are thinking, is now the time to invest in crypto? Is now the time that I want to grow my wealth, to expand, maybe diversify my portfolio out of the normal stock market and buy through the blockchain? Right now is your time. Buy,
Yeah.
buy, buy. Say it with me, Javen. Buy, buy,
Bye, bye,
buy.
bye. Yeah. Hey,
Crypto is
I've not
ready.
changed on this since last show. I've changed on it, of course, over time, but last show I've not changed. That is definitely a certain thing. And but as we're talking about this, we also want to remind people what our core beliefs are when it comes to investing. We still believe in diversity. I know I do. Clayton, I won't speak for you, but I imagine you do too. Diversification is still important. It's Now I'm talking to those long-term investors. This is for you. If you want long-term investing, I'm still on the boat of you need to build your base of $100,000 in ETFs and retirement funds and those safer options before you start getting into those like individual stocks and those cryptos. That's where you need to be if you want those long-term gains. 'Cause, I mean, we see so many people that overinvest, over leverage. I did it myself when I was before I reached that $100,000 save nest. I don't want to say the number, but I had 10 grand in crypto. And I'm like, Jaden, what are you doing? This is more than what you should have in crypto before you have your base. So I divested it. Unfortunately, I should have done that. I would have a lot more right now if I didn't do that. But it's better to be consistent with your values and your beliefs than be lucky every once in a while. In the long term, in the short term, that's great. I love that idea. I love it. I love it. I love it. But long term, not so much. Clayton, agree, disagree? Am I just out of this world right now?
No, no, I agree. Now I would only say that you want to diversify, but you want to make sure that you have a good sum of money in those particular. So if say you have $1,000, I would think it's smarter to put $1,000 in an individual stock versus five, with a
Mhm.
ton of them. I think that if
Yeah.
you find one that you want, also for long term growth, and you can challenge me on this, Jave, and I would believe you need to have a good sum of money for a long term growth stock to really see those numbers piling in.
Mhm.
So if right now you're wanting to go, hey, I want to invest my first $100 or my first $500, I would definitely challenge you to not go with the very safe option
Okay.
because the net growth ratio that you might have over 20 years or 10 years is just not as much. So, so like for example, QQQ is outperforming so well today. It's at 3%, which is great. That is a phenomenal number to see right
Yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Javen, you and I are both in that.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you had, say, for example, one of the stocks that we brought up that are up 8 to 15%, that's going to help you a lot more to really gain. And then once you get to a point where like, hey, I have 1,000 or I have 5,000, 10,000, you can start playing it a little bit safer.
Yeah.
But I would like at some point during this show, uh, or for this show in the future, we can break down home ownership, what it
Mm.
takes, and then also I would like to talk about getting to that $10,000 threshold that I talked about last week, getting $10,000, and then how do you invest correctly to plan that in 5 years to be enough for a down payment on a home?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to share that right now, you're going through that experience right now, moving. You're moving. You're kind of going that process of getting that home.
Well, yeah. So I'm actually digging through it. Nothing is confirmed, but thankfully, over the years with investing I've done, I can be able to very comfortably, from a sum that I put in whenever I was 18, get a great down payment on this home. Uh, it's investing is so important, and so you want to get to that $10,000. I think that is very important for every individual. That gives you time. If hard times do happen, it also gives you the ability to give if people need. If they need help, you have a little bit of wiggle room to help
Yeah.
other people out. But once you get to that $10,000, you want to invest. And I would really, really suggest that once you get out of there, everything you save, try to get to $10,000 in investing and just let that churn and burn. You churn and burn it, and then eventually you can have sums of money. Now, I will say this, and I think Javen would agree with me. You want to have an idea on what you want to do with the money. So, if you have the vision on what you're investing in, so for example, if I'm going to pull $5,000 into a stock, I want to go that $5,000 is going to finish paying off my car whenever it gets to eight.
Yep.
I think that actually helps you. I don't believe in manifesting, but I believe that if you have a goal for a specific stock, for a specific investment, it can help you long term. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
No, I agree with you. Idle money is dead money. I mean, if you don't have a plan for you have a plan for life, what happens? You get lost. If you don't have a plan for your money, same thing. You need a plan for every dollar you make before it reaches your bank account. You need to know where that each dollar is going. If you don't have that, then you're going to be lost and you're going to be drowning in debt. You're going to be so confused. You're going to be those who, when they're 35 or 40, they're going to ask themselves, what did I do wrong? Why am I here? Why are my friends who are 35 going to Costa Rica and Spain while I'm still working two jobs as a Walmart greeter or working at McDonald's putting fries in a bag, which is nothing wrong with that. President Trump did it, so there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But you just want to have a plan for everything. So Clayton, 100% agree with you on that. And with the $10 thing, I always tell people the same thing. Either I give them two options. I say $10,000 or 3 to 6 months of expenses. The only time I really tell them to get that 6 months is it really depends on their current debt, their occupation they're in, and their spending habits. If you know you can't save money, you need you need to save more. I mean, if you know you have a spending problem, you need to be saving that higher 6 months. If you know that you're gonna be having to buy a new car, your car note's gonna go up, your mortgage, your finance, your mortgage, you're buying a house, your mortgage go up. You need to have that 6 months. If you if if you know that your job is not, let's say, recession safe, or if you have a sales job or something along those lines, you need to have those 6 months. But all in all, I think 10 is a good number for most people.
Oh, absolutely. You just want to be smart with what you're spending. Also enjoy life. Go do crazy experiences while you're young. There is a time in life where you want to maybe go travel to a new country. You want to go see those things, but you can do that responsibly. You don't do the typical YOLO. I'm just going to put it on my credit card. Say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to wait 1 year instead of going next month, and I'm
Yeah,
going to plan this whole year out according to that trip.
yeah,
So go do fun things. I mean, spur of the moment also can give you, if you really think of it from a marginal analysis perspective, it actually give you motivation. Sometimes going
mm-hmm.
to a new city motivates you. You feel that fresh air. You're like, okay, I would love to do this. And also, whenever you travel and you see places, this is not really financial advice, but it opens your mind a lot
Yep.
to different cultures, different ideas, and perspectives. And one thing that I was thinking about the other day, so I currently live in Washington D.C. and I've never seen this before, but there's this business here that they set up a little cart, and they have a massive fire pit. This is in a very busy area. It's very busy, and it's $7. They give you a little stick, and a marshmallow, and then like the little pack of supplies. So you got your cracker and your little Hershey, and you roast a marshmallow. $7. The cost, the margins on that are massive.
Yeah.
The cost of the stick, the marshmallow, and the crackers is what, maybe 50 cents at the most if you buy it in bulk. And but they figured out a business that is so cool. And all I have to say is, if I didn't come here, for you go to a new city, you can find ideas that maybe they have that you can bring home to your area. And it's almost like Canes, a lot of people are trying to follow that same model of simplicity.
Yes.
Simple, simple, simple. And they never really had that. It was who can have the biggest menu and the most items. And now we're seeing more and more businesses that are like, we're just going to sell one or two things, and they're outperforming the businesses with 5-page menus.
Yep. Yeah. Todd Graves was on Shark Tank a couple weeks ago, and I was watching it, and one of the sharks was asking him what makes Canes different and do so well. Sticking to what you're good at. Of course, we've heard it before from him, being from Baton Rouge, but he's saying, I've heard so many people tell me, why is there no spicy chicken? Why is there no dessert? Why is there no this and that? And he's like, that's not what Canes is good at. Do what you're good at, and then the money will come. He has had the same menu since he's opened, and he said we'll have the same menu probably until each store is down to the ground. So, and that's a great mindset to have. Clayton, you also brought up a very good point about having fun. It's that YOLO, especially our age, you need to have fun. Something that I do is, so I have buckets. I'm drawing buckets right now on my piece of paper. I have buckets, and I designate, when I get a paycheck, money to go in different buckets. So one bucket is just basic savings. Another bucket is just for fun. And another bucket is for what I call the shoot bucket. But let's stick to fun. I mean,
to your here, man.
Do what?
So you can say it on here.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Mike, I'm gonna get banned. But to your point, the fun bucket. Every year, my friend group and I, we go do something fun. And I forgot the other bucket. My goodwill bucket, which is pretty much my goodwill for the year. My fun bucket, I give myself, I think I do like 1,000 a year on that fun bucket. Some that is so little, to some that is a lot. To me, that's a good amount. I don't see myself spending more than $1,000 in a year on a trip. This is for a trip. Like, and imagine, I have a good group of friends, so $1,000 should not spending $1,000 on a basic trip. Now, if we're going to Disney World, I might need a $5,000 bucket. But like, that's my fun bucket. My goodwill bucket, I give myself $2,000 a year. That's where all of my charitable stuff comes from. That's where it goes. And then in my shoot bucket, I do that percentage wise. I usually give myself maybe about like 10% a year goes in that bucket. Fortunately, I haven't had to touch it in a while, knock on wood. So it's gotten a good bit. But I recommend people kind of have that mindset of, again, planning. Know where your money is going, so when that stuff occurs, you won't be surprised. And I just went on a trip with my friends. We just did a whole East Coast trip. And let me tell you how good it feels to spend money that's meant to be spent.
Yes.
It feels so good. Just blindly pulling out your credit card and putting food or drink your credit card, for me, it makes my skin crawl. It hurts. But when I can pull up my debit card and say, okay, this money is meant to be spent here, there's a weight off your shoulders that I just can't explain to people. Yeah. So get a plan, like Clayton says, but it needs to be a tangible plan. You need to be able to see it, and you need to be able to reward yourself with fun, with anything you like to do. Go get a massage. It's great. Yep. Go do it.
Well, and even with that, we both been in very stressful situations in the last couple months, and I figured that I want to go see my girlfriend in Finland, and I figured this would be such a fun trip. And so I figured, okay, I have 3 months until then. How much do I want to put aside to just really plan it to where not nickeling and diming, but I want to have a great time, and I want to have a great time with her. And then you could also think about too, what's your return on your mentality on these trips? So sometimes it's better to spend more money and have that refreshing. You can come back. For me, I might come back with, okay, I feel great. We were able to have a great time together, and now I'm motivated because I want to be able to plan another trip.
Yeah.
Those kind of things can actually help you. Whereas I see a lot of memes on Instagram, and I'm sure you've seen them. They say, oh, lock in for 6 years so you can relax the rest.
Yeah.
there is not a reason you should be sitting on your computer in your house, not going outside, not making friends, and enjoying companionship while you're young. But you want to be responsible.
Yep.
And I think that you're gonna become dry, and you're gonna
Yeah.
lose all the
Yeah.
motivation when you turn
Yeah.
26.
And
So
I
you want
mean, and to that point, you have to ask yourself as you're on your financial journey, is what brings me value? And that's especially important when you're spending money. I will never tell anyone to not spend money on things they love, but I will tell them to stop spending money on things they want. Because there can be a difference between two things. I like to break it out in brackets. Like once I equal to as likes, loves different things. If you love doing something, if it brings you value, spend money on it, but be responsible. If it's a like or a want, spend money on it, but you're going to sacrifice your values and your loves too, if you want to be comfortable and have that financial cushion. So I just want people to think about that, is think about it as what do I love and value? What brings me value? And what do I just like to do that brings no value? Like for me, gambling, going out, drinking, that is a want. That is a maybe I don't really like to do it, but I can categorize it as like to do it. A love, road trips, golf, the gym. Those are my loves. Those things for me in the long term will bring me value through all aspects of my life, and that's where I spend that's where I like to spend a lot of my wants on.
Well, and absolutely. And as a common reminder, we are not giving financial advice. We are here just to talk with you and grow with you. And we're just excited that we're starting this and that we get to uh, learn more about everybody listening to this. And also, we learn more uh, about ourselves as we're talking. So, thank you all for joining. And we're going to get right into it next week. I know that we're going to be talking about different issues. And hopefully, one day we'll be able to bring a couple people on, right, Javen?
I'm excited for that. People are going to have hopefully a lot more wisdom than we can give. We're only in our 20s, so we still have a lot to learn too, and we can learn from a lot of people, good, bad things. Oh, furthermore, I didn't have time I forgot that I did this, but I did on Reddit. I sent a prompt in to a lot of the groups I'm in to give us some of their financial situations, and we were going to read through them and give advice. So next show we'll do that. I got to remember that.
Yeah,
I got some
that's a great idea.
responses. So we'll read through those and kind of give what we think about it. But yeah, before we go, we want to thank the C2C network because there's a whole network. We got other shows like the Matt Curran show where he talks to everyday Americans about the political situations in their lives. We also have the Coast to Coast show itself with myself, Matt, Michelle, Gabriella, and Clayton as our producer. Follow that show. That's every Thursday live. We just go through the day, a big digest of what happened, and we love to hear everyone's opinions about it. If you like it, if you don't, let us know. We love to hear it.
Yes. Well, thank you all for being here and looking forward to talking to you next week.
See you later. Go Tigers.
Woo!